Nobody that I'm aware of, maybe we just have a different target market, but nobody is sitting around waiting for things to do. Today, I want to talk about consulting as an intrapreneur and how consulting looks different as an intrapreneur. Before we do that, I want to kind of set a really quick frame. Number one, do you consider yourself a consultant? Most people don't. Most people, they just think they're doing project work or they're engaged in some other sort of form or function or engagement. But the reality is the skill set that you bring as an intrapreneur, the ability for you to engage in the way that intrapreneurs do, in the only way that intrapreneurs do, is consulting by everybody else in the entire industry of consulting, management consulting, education consulting, HR, tech. Doesn't matter what kind of consulting it is. They are all focused on strategy. They do a quick analysis of what the client is struggling with, do a couple of interviews, and then they give them a strategy. Seems pretty simple enough, right? Here's the challenge. It's not like a bunch of organizations of your particular people that you want to work with are just sitting around waiting for more work to do, to implement a brand new strategy, to implement a new system. They want to understand what their problems are. They want to understand how to solve those problems, but they also need the people to do the solving of the problems. This is why here inside of Intrapreneur Academy, we say, do and be, not just oversee. Okay, do and be, not just oversee, because consultants oversee. They give some sort of nice PowerPoint presentation or maybe a long white paper to explain what you should do, why you should do it, and then they expect the team that's asking for help, the organization that's looking to grow or scale their business, they expect them to be able to implement it. I mean, that just sounds dumb. But there's an entire industry, PwC, KPMG. There's a entire, organization. That's what they do. McKinsey, Boston Consulting Group. And they're amazing at it. They make tons of money by not doing anything other than delivering strategy and identifying problems. But if you've been here for any sort of time, the Intrapreneur framework is really simple. We focus on problems, then priority, procedure, process, product, and partnership. That's our consulting framework. That's what consulting as an intrapreneur looks like. And here's why that matters. Because we actually execute on the strategy. Crazy, right? Like that is the number one differentiator. Over the last 2 years, since we've been consulting as Intrapreneur, we have continually answered the question, so who does all the work? Well, we do it. We're the ones who actually deliver on the strategy that we recommend. Really? Yeah, we're just an extension of your team. And it blows their mind. Let me give you a quick example, okay? Quick example. We got a client right now. We're starting to work on their accounting department, right? Their accounting department needs a little bit of help. They have different gaps. They're trying to implement new systems, new processes, a brand new accounting system over the last 9 months, and they just haven't been able to get it to work. From the outside in, the reason's really simple. And the reason is they brought old processes into a new system, right? Like you can't buy a high-end performance car and put, the worst kind of gasoline in it. It will mess up your engine. Like they're not made to perform in that way. Organizations, even though they might not be high performance organizations, you can't put old processes into a new system. It doesn't work. You're just going to elevate the problems. But what do their consulting companies say? Well, you just gotta implement these system with your same processes and everything will be fine. All of a sudden, the input will be different than the output, but that's not true. So as intrapreneurs, we engage, we execute on the problem with the right priority to create the ultimate product and partnership that we're looking for. Like that's key. That is the most like differentiation that you can be as an intrapreneur. So whether you call it consulting, whether you call it, intrapreneurship or side gigs or side hustles or whatever it is, right? When we consult, all we're doing, it's really simple. Number one, we're identifying the problem first. We talked a lot about this here inside this group, but when we identify a problem, we're doing 3 major things when identifying a problem. Number one, we're magnifying it. We're looking a little bit closer. As consultants, we look a little bit closer. Because we have an outside perspective, we can usually see things a little bit clearer. So we magnify it. And when we magnify it, the problems, number 2, multiply. When those problems multiply, now we start to see what's happening. The problem is rarely the problem. It's usually some version of some derivative or some kind of sub bullet point of that problem. You can't eat an elephant in one bite, so you got to break it down into little things. That's what we do when we magnify it. We see the multiplication of the problems. Now that we see those problems, now we can actually implement some sort of solution to monetize on that problem. Now, monetization doesn't mean we're going to make $1 million off solving this problem. It could be, but it's usually we're going to save money or we're going to spend money to make money. So in the case of the accounting system, the problems that we see are often not the system itself. So they say, hey, we have this accounting system we're trying to implement. We've been trying to implement it for 9 months and we just can't get it right. Looking a little bit closer, here's what we found. We found leadership issues. We found communication issues between the CFO and the controller and the assistant controller and all the staff accountants. We learned that all those accountants outside of the CFO came from a different company who did things differently. So they brought their old process to a new company. And as he was hired, he brought a new process to a new company, and those things created conflict. They created conflict. We're not talking about system problems. We're talking about communication problems. We're talking about actual leadership problems. Once we fix those, again, people first, then process, then technology. It's never technology first. It's never, ever technology first, because people operate the process that flows through the technology. You're talking about consulting, and now we're talking about people and processes and technology. When you first engage, you seek first to understand the landscape, the problems. Then, now that you've multiplied the problems, you see all the priorities. There's tons of things that could take priority. You elevating those and then executing on the procedure, process, and product creates the partnership. That's why the Intrapreneur framework, in my mind, is the best, most versatile, and universal framework for consulting in any discipline. HR, finance, IT, operations, sales, marketing, etc. Every single division, department, parts of an organization, teams can benefit from you as an entrepreneur coming in to knowing that you can not only identify the problem, but create, hey, what is the current state? Understand where they want to go. That's their future state. We want to create a whatever it is. And then you just close the gap. You close the gap. As the consultant, it's do and be, not just oversee. So the value that you bring is not only the identification of what the problem is and the potential solution of how to solve that problem, but it's also the collaboration with the team and that you are co-missioning. You're going on mission with them together to push buttons, to execute, to lead, to analyze, to deliver. And the great thing is you're an extension of them as an entrepreneur, an extension of that team without having to pay another whole full-time salary. That's why entrepreneurs are different in consulting. That's why entrepreneurship as a whole is the #1 fastest growing skill set that you're going to see over the next 3 to 5 years. Because people want to take ownership, but they don't always want to be the owners. Entrepreneurs are the secret sauce. You are the secret sauce. But don't be overwhelmed or frustrated or even apprehensive around how you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. Because here's the thing. You're already setting yourself up separately as an entrepreneur, as somebody who cares about the vision, who will take that vision, internalize it, and deliver on a result that they're looking for. And that result that they see in their future, as it contrasts with their current state, you're the bridge builder that bridges them from where they're at to where they want to go. Those two differentiations, intrapreneurship and do and be, not just oversee, set you apart tremendously as an entrepreneur. And that's why intrapreneurship is the DNA of consulting. Every client needs this. Because guess what happens? When they don't have it, it sits on the shelf, right? The solution sits on the shelf. They don't use it. Why? Because, well, they don't know how to get there. Nobody that I'm aware of, maybe we just have a different target market, but nobody is sitting around waiting for things to do. But you know what they are waiting for? Somebody who knows the way, goes the way, knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. Intrapreneurships know the way. Intrapreneurship is intrinsically the skill set, mindset, and heart set to know the way. Because guess what? You weren't the one who set the destination. That's your client who sets that destination. You understand where they're at, and you're the bridge builder to get them between it. So you know the way, you go the way, you're doing the work, and then you show the way. You train the people on the work that's been done because they've been with you, commissioning with you, as you commission with the visionary, with the CEO, with the author, speaker, whoever you work with. That's what creates the bridge. That's why it's different, and that's why you're so critically important for your clients. I'd love to hear how you consult with your clients, and what does it look like for you? Where have you seen those bottlenecks or even those breakdowns in communication and differentiation? Because believe me, doing the work while strategizing on the work that needs to get done is so key, and everyone needs that.